Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelove, and this is Speedplay Conclave number 15. We left off as the Byzantine Emperor, who rules an empire that is at least mostly people of the wrong religion, wrong culture, and who hate us for usurping the throne, and just generally being a huge problem. So what we're going to do is spend a very long and very large amount of real time just revoking all of their titles. It's going to be the next 3 minutes of this video where we just go ahead and revoke everything because 1, Imperial Administration lets us revoke any duchy, and 2, religious revocation laws allows us to just take everything from all of the nobility, the entire empire over. Now it's a bit ridiculous, I would argue, and if I could change anything about Crusader Kings, one of the things I would do is maybe make it so that religious revocation for things like counts and barons was based on the religion of the province they're in, as opposed to the religion of the liege. Now, I would argue that it does make a lot of sense for the liege to be able to revoke vassals who aren't his religion, but maybe just on the kingdom and duchy level. Or somewhere in between, though, because we're going to just completely overturn 1,000 years of Roman history, something like 500 years of Byzantine history, and just completely undo what the empire has been about and just shift it completely. Which is a little bit of a ridiculous thing to be able to do after just winning 2 battles in an area like Constantinople. I mean, I guess you could argue that William the Conqueror kind of did the same thing when he conquered England and just kind of installed the French nobility. And maybe that is just what we're doing, although on a much larger scale. You'll see a few people did actually revolt, but we just defeat them and we're able to revoke their titles even quicker now without any tyranny whatsoever, which is fairly nice, to be honest. We do get a bit of tyranny, but that's just from arresting decadent family members without a just cause. So there is a bit of tyranny that we've got, but overall, it's not so bad. And it's not really anything that's going to affect most people. Now we're even revoking all of the baronies, all of the temple holdings, just everything. And granting those temple holdings to new vassals manually is going to give us 25 piety per each temple. And that's going to just make us pretty powerful. It's really going to help out in the long run. Now, I think that there should be some sort of in-game carrots and sticks for doing this. There shouldn't be... Well, I mean, there's obviously the carrot side. There are rewards for doing this. We're going to get tons of piety. We're going to get vassals who really love us for giving them their titles and for being the right religion and right culture. But there should be some reasons not to do this other than just the tedium of actually doing it. As, honestly, that shouldn't be the thing that you're after. You shouldn't have to just go through all this sort of tedium in order to get something done. There should be some in-game reasons not to. And I think going by the culture and religion of the provinces for low-level vassals would be the best way forward. That way it's still a bit balanced, and having dukes and kings be able to be the religion and culture of the emperor, that would be nice. And it would impose them and have them fight struggles to control their own realms. We also did just convert to Catholic, which is very important, because 1, we haven't had the piety to really keep everyone from being decadent. 2, there's a crusade going on that I wouldn't really mind being a part of. And 3, they have more moral authority, and we might be able to really just enjoy being the Roman Empire and Roman Emperor a little bit more as being Catholics, at least for the moment. We might switch again, however... Being Catholic, we have a lot of doors open to us. We can also probably do this same thing that we're doing now, only to our vassals in Spain. Because since we've been the same religion as our Spanish vassals, we haven't been able to do this massive, from the top down and then from the ground up, restructuring of the state. Here you will see that we're actually doing that with the baronies now. Just manually creating new barons, all of our religion and culture just through the automatic process, though we still have to do it for every single holding, which is still a bit tedious. However, it really does cement our culture and religion as the culture and religion of the empire. I wouldn't be surprised if by 1000 AD, most of the region is Suebi and Catholic. Provided we do stay Catholic. We might switch religions later on when it's convenient to us, but we do want our culture to spread forever. And now, really, no matter what happens, even if we lose control of the Byzantine throne, once we get these vassals in place, and they're all Suebi and all Catholic, once we get them in place, our culture is going to spread throughout the Roman Empire. Every last part that we're doing this to. Since we're Catholic, we can also turn around and do this to Spain now, although our vassals over there are rebellious. You'll also see by the slightly different icons that we do have some Sunnis in control of some of these regions. The reason we're doing that is those Sunnis are all our family members, and if we give them enough titles and enough land, hopefully our opinions, or their opinions of us, will be high enough that we'll be able to convince them to switch to Catholic, and then we'll put them in charge of all of the other vassals, making it so that the only direct vassals we'll have, ideally, will be our family members. Whether or not it actually plays out like that, I haven't seen. We haven't gotten quite that far yet. However, I do think that we're pretty much on the right path to do that. So really, these are the most monumental years for the Byzantine Empire. We've completely switched its religious and cultural makeup, and the only price we paid was some real-world tedium. And I really don't think that should be the price that you have to pay. I think what we had to deal with in Spain was much better, where there are still Umayyads just kind of meandering around. You'll notice we're not granting any titles, we're granting viceroyalties. And that's a really big step in the direction of just maintaining and solidifying imperial power. It's the kind of imperial top-down control that allows us to overwhelm the entire empire because we've taken over the seat of emperor, and also really limits vassals from rising up. We are still an elective monarchy just based on how we managed to get ourselves on the throne, so it's possible that we could lose it. However, even if we do lose it, the effect of that is just going to be that a different Suebi Catholic takes over. And also, sadly, our heir hates us, so we might end up losing him to rebellion and getting a new heir and just being a rather limited Greek, or Greek as in the Greek area, person. So we might really limit ourselves, but our family and our culture will definitely live on, and I'm confident that we'll be able to build ourselves up back to a position of power no matter what happens. We do try to get some of our family members into the fold by just increasing their relations of us. I believe it has to be above 36 in order for us to get them to become Catholic. Some of them are turning Catholic, a lot of them are children and won't be able to be converted until they turn 16, although they do have fairly decent opinions of us. Some of them are still in the negative, and that's very unfortunate as it means we won't really be able to carry out our plans with them. However, we're at 45 out of 40 possible vassals, and we'll be able to bring that number down, hopefully with relative ease, to number 40, and then we won't have to deal with it for quite some time. I would rather have a few small, powerful, and loyal vassals, although with viceroyalties and not actually having them control the lands for really just all time. Viceroyalties are great in that when the character dies, we get it back, and we'll be able to split it to really the vassal in the area who likes us the most. We are at risk of losing control over the Byzantine Empire because of elective succession not going our way. Hopefully we'll be able to turn that around, although at the moment it doesn't really look like it. We are still rather young though, so hopefully we'll clean up the succession before it actually occurs, although this is the character we lost the last empire with, so hopefully we don't relive that on the succession, as that would be quite terrible. We also do have to deal with the Spanish, who are all still Catholics, except for in the south of Spain, we do have a Catholic. We gave him Swabia Minor, and we're going to try to transfer over as many people as we can. We could extort everyone. We decide not to because we want our vassals to like us as much as possible. The Patriarch, who is still Orthodox and Greek even, wants a title from us. He just wants an area with no lands. We go ahead and give it to him because it's really nothing to us, and it'll give us a favor from him. We appoint commanders, various things. A lot of people still hate us far too much for us to actually achieve our ends. Overall, though, that's going to be a problem for next time. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to continue the narrative, keep moving forward. We are still the usurper. Here's the new in-game screen. Hopefully we'll be able to change that and keep the empire moving forward. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.